From who? I haven't either. Do we need to? How are you doing? Okay, no problem. Alrighty, sir. Have a good one. I don't think so. All right, Roby, if you can get us ready for Facebook Live.
Okay, yeah, we're already got started. So yeah, you guys are good to go.
Say that one more time.
Sorry, yeah, we're already streaming now. We just started.
Thank you. All right, Roby, is a little loud in here. Did you say we're good to go Facebook Live?
Yes, we're good to go.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome. This is a regular scheduled public hearing business meeting of the Valencia County Commission for June 24th, 2026. Tim, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Okay, commissioners, we have the agenda before us this evening. Are there any changes by fellow commissioners? Any questions on that? There's none. Staff? There being none, is there a recommendation to approve the agenda as presented this evening?
So moved.
Second.
A motion for approval by Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Bazell. Any discussion on the motion in the second? Be none. Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Before I go any further, just let the record reflect that Commissioner Richardson is not with us this evening. He is absent. We have two sets of minutes. We have our June 3rd, 2026 business meeting and our June 11th, 2026 special business meeting canvas meeting. Are there any changes to those minutes by fellow commissioners? Commissioner Sen? Staff, did you see anything on those changes? No? That being said, is there a recommendation to approve the minutes for the 6/3/2026 business meeting and the 6/11/2026 special canvas and business meeting be approved as presented this evening?
So moved. Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Sparkman. Any discussion on the motion of the second? Be none. Commissioner Bizzell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, they stand approved. Okay, we'll start with our public comment. Okay, first up, Tom Mraz.
We need to turn that microphone on. Tap the little button on it.
Would you turn your mic on, please?
Oh, put on? Okay. In 2013, I approached former Senator Michael Sanchez to get some money to do a park in Meadow Lake. We got $105,000 capital outlay. He said, well, you need a plan. We got a plan.
Would you stay at the podium, please?
I'm just going to show you guys.
We can see it. We need to record your
Can you?
voice.
Okay. We had this plan at $105,000 capital outlay. We waited for the former county manager and public works director to do something on this plan, and nothing happened. They sat there, had meetings, and oh, I forgot to bring the paperwork. Oh, I didn't bring the thing. Oh, what to do it next time? And then they said, well, we can't just do a plan that 5 or 6 people want. We'll have to have some meetings. So we had like 5 or 6 public meetings. Everybody wanted to start a park. Everybody wanted the trailer that was there that was destroyed at $28,900 capital outlay to destroy, was going to be a teen center. That's gone. They want outdoor restrooms. We didn't get that. We didn't get anything the public wanted. The money was going to be reverted and ended up being spent on things the public did not want or need. And now you want to close that off. Well, this is a bunch of BS, if you ask me, because it's just ridiculous. It's the only thing up there. We got one lousy road that was done, what, 3 or 4 years ago, and it's already cracking and falling apart. That's all there is. I pay my taxes, and I want my taxes to stay up there. I want it to benefit the people up there. I am proposing that the commission, just like the Older American program, you start a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Each commissioner picks one member from the public, from their district. You have somebody from Public Works, and you have a commissioner assigned to it, just like you do with the Older American program. And that way the public gets input on these parks and things that are getting done, because the public has no input. We just get, here, this is what you get, and that's it. If you don't like it, oh, well, now we're going to take it away, now you get nothing. That's nonsense. That needs to change. The public needs a voice. We pay the taxes. We pay to support this stuff. And my money, if it's not going to what I want it to see go to, is nonsense. We need a voice. And to me, start something like that. The public would weigh in. You could get input. And then also one area, poor area like Meadow Lake, El Cerro, Highland Meadows, doesn't get the shaft, or less Moravias, where it's more affluent, or Huning Ranch, they get better things. That's wrong. The poor areas should get better things, not the ones that already have everything, because we have nothing, and now you're trying to take that away. Thank you.
Next up, Celestino Landavaso.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. My name is Celestino Landavaso, a Meadow Lake resident, and I'm here today as Executive Director of Valencia Community Action Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization advocating to improve the quality of life for Valencia County residents. I am joined with several other residents of Meadow Lake due to the Valencia County Parks and Recreation Department's decision to close Meadow Lake Park, located behind the community center, between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. on weekdays, and to close it completely on weekends. This change in access took effect just days before the Father's Day weekend. In my capacity as Executive Director of VCAN, I learned about the closure from community members that contacted me that saw posts on the county County Parks and Recreation Facebook page. We would like to respectfully ask the commission to work to restore access to the Meadow Lake Park to the level it was before the change. We, as a community, fully understand that these actions were taken due to alleged vandalism and break-ins at the Meadow Lake Community Center, and we as residents are victims of this behavior as well. Instead of closing our park, we would like to invite the county to meet with residents and work together toward a solution that reduces the incidents affecting us all. I have with me a petition from visitors to the Meadow Lake Park requesting that access to the park be restored after 7 p.m. and on weekends. I thank you for your time, and I have the petition here.
You can give it to Manager Aragon. Thank you. Okay, next we have Teresa Mraz.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here to let you know that closing the community park in Meadow Lake is not a good idea. If you decide to close it, it will only create a hostile environment. It just saddens me. I'm very emotional about this because I love all the kids. Anyway. We have worked very hard to bring the community together. We want to continue to create a safe and active place so that our families will have all the opportunities that all the children have, all the other children have. We have children that are very creative when given the opportunity to show the positive things they can do. I hope you will find it in your heart to leave it open so that we can continue to work with all our children. We must show them that they have value and we do care about them we should care about them like we do our own families. I'm sorry that Commissioner Richardson isn't here, so I hope he gets the message also. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Claudia Vargas. I'm going to just remind you and ask that you state your name for the record before you start speaking, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Vargas. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. My name is Claudia Vargas, and I'm a resident of Meadow Lake. My family first moved to Meadow Lake in 1980. They built adobe homes and raised their families. I purchased my first property in Meadow Lake in 1993. The same year, the construction of the Meadow Lake Community Center was completed. In 2013, I returned to live in Meadow Lake, and after 20 years, the community center had never been staffed or open to the public. After years of trying to use the park and lack of access and restrooms outside, both my son and I, who was 9 at the time, decided that that was not a place for us to go. At the first opportunity, my son had to advocate for his youth. He volunteered to speak at a town hall at the Meadow Lake Fire Station in 2016. More than 100 Meadow Lake residents attended that town hall and provided public input on the needs and concerns in Meadow Lake. The top priority for the community at the time was public access to the Meadow Lake Community Center. Attendees not only requested access to Meadow Lake Community Center, but also access to the Casa Colorada, Jarales, and El Cerro Mission Community Center that has now also been closed since it was built more than 30 years ago. Closing the Meadow Lake Community Center Park is not a solution. It simply punishes our seniors, families, and marginalized community. My understanding was that the fence around the park was to keep stray dogs and abandoned dogs out for the safety of our families and young children. It was not there to keep our community out. I ask for accountability and transparency from the recently created Parks and Rec Department. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Rachel Hicks.
Hello, my name is Rachel Hicks. I am here to express a concern that a proposal to block the easement from Highway 314 to the neighborhood that I grew up in, Las Chavez Acres. Blocking the easement poses a significant, several significant issues that I would like to outline for your consideration. The proposed blockage would severely interrupt emergency crew and police access to homes in our neighborhood. It is imperative that emergency services have unobstructed access to all residences to ensure the safety and well-being of our community. The proposed, our neighborhood houses several elderly and handicapped residents. They also rely on public transportation services such as Rio Metro. Drivers of these services are not permitted to reverse their vehicles, and blocking this easement would necessitate a detour that would complicate transportation for these residents. This easement has served as a vital role for our mail delivery, delivery trucks, trash services, and other essential services. Blocking it would be a rerouting of these services, causing an inconvenience and potential delays. The alternative entrance that's located to the south of Allsups is not a very safe one, especially for those of us that have large vehicles. There is no clear marking of the easement between, or that separates the easement from the shoulder of Highway 314 and the parking lot of Allsups. Living back there for over 40 years, I've witnessed several accidents, deaths in that intersection. I personally own a horse trailer and a very large 40-foot fifth wheel camper. If the easement becomes blocked, I will not be able to take my camper off my property. It will be stuck there. I'm not the only resident with large vehicles. I have lived behind the building known as the Horseshoe for over 40 years. And in the last 4 decades, this building has been a bar or drinking establishment, and the easement has never been an issue. So we're asking why now? Why is it an issue? Why is it even a topic of conversation? When the building was the El Nido, the Honky Tonk South, and the Wild Pony, we had no issues. And it was a daily, patrons were there daily. So we're asking for your consideration to not block our easement, leave it as it is, has it been there since the late 70s. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, next, Maria Klee.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Maria Klee. Preserve Our Heritage Group is continuing our work to hopefully convince you all not to pursue the East Side Extension through our neighborhood, which includes homes between North and South El Cerro loops. We continue to provide research which documents population, traffic movements, and most importantly, we have provided alternative solutions which would allow us to keep the quiet rural community that we call home. We want to thank Commissioner Bazell for attending our last neighborhood meeting. Although we may not agree entirely, it is important that we agree to disagree, but always look for ways to do what is best for the majority. We understand you all are not our enemy, but please understand that we are passionate about the cause, which is not losing our homes, not losing our land, and maintaining a peaceful community. We realize that a new study is underway by Moles and Corbin, and those findings will be reported to you. We just believe it is important that our voices not be silenced in the meantime. We are excited that some of our residents will be asked to participate on an advisory committee with Moles and Corbin and the county. We are also working to gain additional survey information from residents living near or on the East Mesa. We want to involve those residents to better understand what traffic routes they deem necessary and/or desirable. We are also looking into a proposed resolution for the Commission to consider as a remedy as it relates to upgrading and widening the North Loop rather than building a completely new road through our community. To that end, please consider our pleas and listen to your voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up we got Jessica Cowdery.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Jessica Cowdery, and I am the president of the Valencia Community Action Network. I am a founding board member as well, and I am here also to support keeping the park open at the Meadow Lake Community Center. My day job is as the Vice President of Operations at Common Spirit St. Joseph's Children, where we provide home visiting services here in Valencia County and across the state. We know oh too well the importance of having safe outdoor spaces for families to be together and recreate. So I urge you, please open the park at the Meadow Lake Community Center on the weekends and evenings. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, Paul Kinzelman.
My name is Paul Kinzelman. I comment today on a number of items which call into question the competency of Valencia County. Some of these items are not directly within the purview of the commissioners, but I think all of them reflect poorly on the competency of government and elected officials throughout Valencia County administration, and it should be concerning. First, there's the property tax fiasco. Yes, people make mistakes, but I was told I owed 5 different amounts over time, 5 different amounts, and I'm still not confident that the bill I have is even correct now. I went over it very carefully with a spreadsheet, and I can't match my numbers with the numbers I've gotten for the past several years, actually. I began looking into my tax evaluations of bills in detail, and I still have not been able to meet with the county taxation people and the county treasurer to resolve the differences. I've requested a joint meeting with them and they have been always very agreeable, but to date have scheduled no meeting. I request that you ask these departments to be more responsive to your constituents' meetings requests, as well as a direct, real audit to be done to understand the multiple failures of the taxation process. That shouldn't happen. Then there's the New Mexico State Auditor's Report on the Los Lunas schools for fiscal year 2026, noting, among other things, improper payments to State Representative Brian Baca's household. That's one update from what I gave you. It's household, not just him. To the tune of over $70,000 in just 1 year. The County Commission originally appointed Mr. Baca to be House District 8 representative. What kind of vetting was done by the Commission for the appointment? Mr. Baca has issued only a blanket but content-free denial. Then there's a $2 million lost to a county employee scammed by a fake vendor. $2 million of taxpayers' money. What is the commission doing to recover this money? And in addition, is there anything being done to raise the awareness for all employees who are in a vulnerable position to be a target of this kind of fraud? Have any checks and balances been put in place so this can never happen again? And even though the commission doesn't have any official authority over the issue, there is the Niagara water controversy. A company bottling water in a desert during a drought is regularly exceeding its allotment with impunity. Who could think that a water bottling company in these conditions is a good idea? It takes a special kind of stupid. There are no consequences for the company exceeding their limit. Meanwhile, our farmers have no irrigation water for the season again. There's not been any large-scale ice activity in our county. Our neighbors have not yet been kidnapped to any large extent. If ICE were going after the worst of the worst as they claim, that could be useful, but that's not the experience of communities in which they have operated. What is this commission's position on how to deal with ICE if they come into our community? What is your plan to protect the people of Valencia County from being snatched from their homes?
Thank you. Your time is
And
up.
data centers.
Thank you.
I'd like to see a kind of a statement, maybe
Mr.
published in the
Kinzelman, your
paper
time is up. Thank you.
about these things.
Okay, next up we have Maria Leiva.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you today. I am part of the Preserve Our Heritage team. I would like to let you know that we have requested a copy of the presentation that Molson and Corvid shared on April 30th with the community. They have indicated that the presentation was shared with you, and they will be requesting permission from you to release it to the community. Additionally, a request to Molson and Corbin regarding the clear identification of the structures and the parcels that have been identified on each of the alternatives has been requested several times, including today. So that is something ongoing with Molson and Corbin. We also have asked whether there is a specific reason why the expansion on the North Cerro Loop wasn't considered initially. This has been a question that our community has had since the beginning versus an existing, versus the routes that go through our community. I would also like to thank you for the initiative on allowing a group of our community to work with Molson and Corbin to identify the most logical solution for the expansion of the road. I am sure that that collaboration will help the community. And again, just thank you for your time and attention to these matters.
Thank you. Okay, next person, I'm sorry, but I can't read the name. Possibly Reverend Ruiz? Oh, okay, sorry about that. I just could not read your.
I'm not known for my good handwriting.
That's okay. If you just state your name for the record, please.
Thank you to the commissioners, the chairs, and everybody here. My name is Reverend Jane Ruiz. It's Jane, Jayneruiz. So it's a mouthful anyway. So I just want to, I'm in support also of keeping the park open, the Meadow Lake Park. I think it's a bad solution. I think you've heard some different solutions tonight of how to keep the park open and to keep people safe, but it's even going to be more unsafe for people just playing on the street. I grew up in a rural area where we played kickball on the street. We were lucky more children didn't get run over playing kickball out in the street. So a park is just such an important place to have to keep families and children safe. So I just hope that you can find another solution than closing down the park. I think that's one of the worst solutions for any community, especially a poor community that doesn't have access to a lot of resources, like going to Planet Fitness or something like that. And I think the park is just a wonderful park, and it should be kept open. So I would ask you all to take some real consideration of keeping this park open. So I wish to thank you for your time and attention and for having me be able to speak, and I wish you the very best in your endeavors tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, at this time we'll go ahead and move on to our discussion on action items. That's item number 5. Commissioners, anything you wish to bring to the table this evening? Appears not. Staff, I believe you have a couple things.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. I just want to clear up any confusion that may be surrounded about the closure of the Meadow Lake Park. There's been pretty significant safety issues going on in the darker hours of the evening. One very, very significant recent incident that sparked the closure of the park was a young adult, underage person, was jumped and beat up by several older adults. So I appreciate the one comment that recognized it as a temporary closure, because that's truly what it is. It's a temporary closure so we can identify other safety measures that allow us to keep that park open on the weekends and the evenings. So just clearing up any confusion, because there's a lot of comments saying that the park is closed completely. It is not. It's just a temporary closure. We are keeping it open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. during the weekdays. There's unfortunately no services available at the community center on the weekends, so there's no oversight there at that point. So the decision was to close the center for the time being while we find that safety measure. And as we approach the final budget, looking at ways to maybe implement a safety measure, whether it be security, another employee, something like that. But it's going to take a little bit of time in discussion with you commissioners. This just happened within the last week and a half.
Thank you for that update. Appreciate that.
Going on to some other really positive news. We have a report from a couple of our employees dealing with the summer intern program. And so tonight I'd like to welcome our purchasing agent, Rustin Porter, and Safety Coordinator Gabe Luna. They're going to give us a little spiel on what they've been doing so far with the student interns and what their project is going to be for you guys in the community to see coming up.
We got Lindsay.
And Lindsay. Yeah, Lindsay Armijo.
Oh, we know Lindsay and Maria are done.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner. An update on our program and what we've done this year. Well, the intern program itself is not new. This year has looked a little different with PED contracting with Education at Work to administer the program. As we've navigated these transitions, we've encountered a few hurdles and administrative challenges along the way. However, we have continued working through these issues, keeping the program moving forward. Despite those challenges, I would consider the program a success so far, and that success is largely due to our student interns. They have brought an incredible amount of energy, enthusiasm, and positivity to the county. They have been eager to learn, willing to help wherever needed, and truly a joy to be around. Their contributions have made a positive impact on our staff and on the overall work environment. One of the most rewarding aspects of the program has been watching these students gain real-world experience while learning more about public service and local government. We are proud of the work they have accomplished and grateful for the opportunity to support their growth and development. As we continue building on that success, 2 of our employees, Gabe and Rustin, have volunteered to assist with the mandatory career lab every Wednesday as part of the Community Impact Project. Their support has been invaluable, and I appreciate their willingness to help connect students with opportunities and experience that can shape their future career paths. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Rustin and Gabe.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Yeah, just to kind of add to what Lindsay was talking about, every week, every Wednesday, we meet with all of the interns all at once here in this room, and we discuss different things like career paths, things like that. But one thing we always talk about is safety. We want our interns to realize that coming to work, you should be safe, you should feel safe. That way you can do your job and not have to worry about outside conditions that might make you feel unsafe or unproductive. Keeping that in mind, we've talked about different topics such as slips, trips, and falls, cybersecurity. In fact, this morning we had our safety committee meeting here in this room with the interns. It was nice to see the interns getting involved with staff and just seeing everybody getting along and having questions and getting those things answered, things like that. So it's good to see these guys taking it seriously, being more involved than they have been in the past, and getting everyone together really makes it feel like we're coming together as a group. I'll stand for any questions.
Questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Chair?
Please.
Lindsay, I thought you were going to give the whole long report. Your boss said it was going to be like so long. So thank you guys for all your help. And I mean, I've heard nothing but good stuff from the interns, and everybody seems to be having a good time and learning a lot. And they said you guys are very professional, and they all want to come back. From the ones that I've talked to want to keep coming back. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you again. I just want to go over what we're doing on Wednesday Lab. It's just, we kind of get for animal control, just come up with new ways to host a clinic. It was kind of just a theory that we gave them. They just completely took off and ran with the theory. And so now we've actually presented this to animal control. Obviously want to get your support as well, but these kids actually want to host this event, not just use this scenario as a learning tool. So we're looking to host an adoption event in collaboration with Animal Control on July 17th, that these students are all, from marketing through the end of the clinic, are going to just run that whole clinic. So it's just really great to see. Before I finish, though, I would like to bring up Karina and Luciano. I know I'm kind of putting you guys on the spot, but if you guys want to step up here. So these two individuals actually stepped up as our program manager for this scenario. And they've just done a great job just heading their fellow students and their fellow interns to just making this, this whole scenario become a reality. So you guys have anything you want to add? Please, I know you love to talk. Go ahead.
It's interesting to collaborate with all the interns and try to manage a group of people. I mean, that's what I've been doing, and it's kind of hard to do so, to sign and everything, and to make sure everybody's doing something. But I think it's a great experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? Well,
Just one quick thing to add. On the July 22nd meeting, we will have a couple more of the students, hopefully all of them have been involved, to give you a complete update on their experience throughout the whole internship and how the clinic goes on the 17th of July. So we'll have them back to give another presentation at the end.
Thank you so much. Just to echo what Commissioner Bazell said, I mean, this is a great program. The county's been doing it for several years, and you guys are mentoring them. You guys are taking them under your wing, so to speak, and they seem to be accelerating what they're doing here. It's career building. It's great for their education and everything else. So thank you guys so much for the program and for taking the leadership role that you guys have. Commissioner Bazell, did you have something?
Well, I was just going to, they already answered it. I'd say, would they come, they get the reward of giving the presentation of after?
Cool. Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioners? Any other comments? No?
Mr. Chair, just one final thing, the manager's update. I was hoping that Chief Rob was going to be able to speak about, the recent decision to follow the state's fireworks, many different things. He had to leave kind of last minute to give us that update before 4th of July. We did adopt the state's fire ban at this point, and folks abide by that, and it's going to be difficult to, this large county, and while we have a really robust sheriff's department and fire department, it's kind of overwhelming about how people are still using the fireworks and stuff like that. So we're hoping the community works with us, but he will give that update next week at the July 1st meeting.
Mr. Chair?
Please.
Jonathan, on that, could we make sure that we put it on the website and the Facebook as many times as possible?
Yes, sir. We'll continually run that for the next week or so.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Commissioners? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to our action items at this time. Item number 6, approval of a resolution authorizing and approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to New Mexico Finance Authority. Mr. Silva.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, good afternoon. Again, for the record, we are requesting consideration of a resolution authorizing and approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority for funding to update the Joint Affordable Housing Plan. In March 2026, the Valencia County Grants Department did receive direction to identify a funding opportunity that would fund the update of the Affordable Housing Plan. The New Mexico Finance Authority does have funding available for financial assistance to support a project of this nature. The application does require a resolution approved by the Commission approving submission of the completed application. The application is for the maximum amount of $100,000 and will be to fund for this Affordable Housing Plan update in partnership with the Village of Los Unas and City of Belen. With that said, we do have the application completed and ready to submit. We are just pending the signed resolution from this board, and I stand for any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Silva?
Mr. Chair?
Please.
What about the other municipalities, BOCC Farms, Peralta, Rural Communities? Did they not want to be part of this?
Yeah, we did make an effort to extend it to them. As we proceed into the actual plan, we will make an effort to reach out to those smaller municipalities. But just in order to get the application submitted, we had the Village of Belen, the Village of Los Unas and the City of Belen were readily available to provide letters of support.
Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioners? Okay, recommendation, please.
Mr. Chair, move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Bazell. Any discussion on the motion of the second? Be none. Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, is approved.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this resolution is 2026-41.
Okay, item 7, consideration to approve a sub-grant agreement and AMP. Mr. Silva.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, again for the record, we are requesting consideration to approve a sub-grant agreement and the regional plan for the Senate Bill 3 and Region 13 early access funding. In December 2025, the Valencia County Grants Department did work with the Adult Detention Center to respond to the Healthcare Authority Early Access Regional Plan's Notice of Funding Opportunity. Funding was requested in the amount of $755,341 for salary support, medications, supplies, equipment, and training. An MOU was signed by this commission on February 18th, 2026, which established the process for these funds, being that Cibola County will be acting as the fiscal agent for these funds. In order to have access to the early access funds during the month of July, the Board of County Commissioners will need to sign off on the sub-grant agreement and approve the regional plan via a resolution in your packet. The full amount will be dispersed to the county upon submission of an invoice to Cibola County. There is no match associated with this funding. However, there are quarterly progress reports that are required to be submitted. This funding will need to be utilized prior to June 30th, 2027. I respectfully request consideration of this sub-grant agreement and resolution, and myself, Warden Guterres, or Marcy Chavez, who is available online, stand for any questions that you might have.
Any questions, Commissioners? Appears there's none. Recommendation, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion for approval from Commissioner Bazell, second by Commissioner Berry. Any discussion on the motion of the second? None. Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, this resolution is 2026-42.
That one just needs to. That was just my signature. Okay, item 8, approval of a resolution adopting and implementing the 2026 employee pay study. Mr. Montoya.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Tonight we're here requesting approval of our updated position classification and salary plan. This study is an update to the county's current pay plan and compensation structure that we originally adopted in 2021. The study reviewed our job classifications, our organizational structure, and compared our pay ranges to the current labor market to ensure that we remain competitive in recruiting and retaining our employees. Approval of this plan does not mean that there's any raises taking place now. The manager and I have talked about using this tool as a plan going forward. So when we do bring the FY 2026 budget to you, we will bring you options, a plan. We have to identify what money is there, and then by using this tool, we will see what kind of raises that we will be able to afford or implement this coming year. So like we've done in the past, we've used the same consultant, pretty much the same study, just updated. It's recommended we do it every 3 years. We're kind of coming into 4.5, almost 5 years. So it's about time we get this updated data. We use all the other counties that compare to us as far as B counties. There's some specialized places that we look at just because of animal control or paid firefighters to compare with. But other than that, pretty straightforward. It's been nice. We've been using, Cibola County's been helping us a lot now with our finance department. They also use the same consultant for their pay plan. So we've been shooting ideas back and forth, us and Cibola County, and we have a really good idea where we're going to go. And as we identify those funds, we will bring that to you when we bring you the budget and whatever recommendations we may have. And with that, I would request approval of this updated pay study.
Okay, Commissioners, any questions, Mr. Montoya?
Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Do you have an estimate, just even ballpark, and if you don't want to answer, that's not
Okay,
okay.
cool.
But just how much are we thinking, like percentage-wise, would hypothetically, if we had the money?
The updated study makes a recommendation of us to for anybody really to take a jump like that after 5 years. What we've done in the fight who wasn't at the minimum level, and then incrementally try to get the staff to the middle. But we generally stay around the 5% range. That's what's recommended in the study. 5, 4, and 3 is one of the methods there, just to kind of give you an example. So if you're closer to the middle, you would get like a 3% bump to get you there. If you were further, you would get a 5%. So there's steps in place that we're going to use. But overall, really, really rough estimate, we usually stay around 5%.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, our staff does a good job, right? So I don't want to make sure that we're not being too cheap with them, but also being responsible.
Correct. And where the study comes into play is it uses basically, for lack of a better term, our competitors, the village of Las Unas schools, and state wages. So we want to identify where we're losing people, see what other people are paying, and really just kind of stay in the ballpark with them. The village, being so close, that's really who we kind of move back and forth with a little bit. But it's good. The way I look at it, it's good for our community. It's good for our taxpayers. And so we will be very conservative as we go through this. We've had great help with Cibola County, but the guys from, like he likes to tell us when he comes in, he's like, I'm the guy from out of town. I don't know any of these names. I don't know any of these people. I just give you the numbers, and that's how we prefer to work with it.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, Commissioners? Staff, anything you wish to add to that?
As we worked through this budgeting process with Cibola County, they have some really great ideas on how to utilize this plan in an effective way that is both conservative and beneficial to the wonderful employees that we do have here at Valencia County. And I just thank Mr. Montoya on his hard work on getting this updated, and Mr. Yermo as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion being done, Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
Yeah, vote. I know you're doing all the work, right?
All of it. Come more often. I'm
That's-
retired soon. It's all right.
That's fine.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is 43.
Mike? Okay, item 9, approval of resolution, local bars. Manager Erga.
Mr. Chair, we bring to you tonight a resolution for one local bar. As we're going to have a couple more coming at you with them by mid-July. Local bars, as you know, they're prepared same way we prepare everything with DFA approval. However, local DFA approval, we just prepare them in that manner. The description for the bar is in your packet, and I make a recommendation to approve.
Any questions of Manager Erga, Commissioners? Being none, recommendation, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion for approval from Commissioner Bazell, second by Commissioner Berry. Any discussion on the motion of the second? Being none, Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
Vote yes, as approved.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this resolution is 2026-44.
Okay, item 10, approval of a resolution accepting and approving the FY 2025-26 audit. Manager Erga.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you. I'd like to welcome Mr. Mark Santiago from our audit team. A lot of people have, they worry about their audit, and sometimes it can be great news, sometimes it can be bad news, but the soundest advice that I've ever gotten was actually years and years ago from the manager at Cibola County, Kate Fletcher, and she said, you want an auditor that's going to tell you what you need to get done and fixed versus one that's just going to say your audit's perfect. We didn't find any issues. So while audit findings can be, hard to hear, they need to be found, and we need to fix those items. And the auditors that we have, we are entering our last year of contract with them, but they've been wonderful to work with throughout the years, and they've always given us great sound advice on how to fix these fix audits that have happened, audit findings in the past, and they continue that work today. So again, Mr. Santiago, he's going to present to you and tell you, give you the report.
Welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Manager, Mr. Chair, Honorable Commissioners, thanks for having us today, or me representing us, I guess I would say. And happy to present the 2025 financial statement audit. So I'll go over some required communication points, and then at the end, open it up for any questions that you may have. Starting off with what is auditor's responsibility under GAS and government auditing standards. In this scenario, the county is subject to multiple levels of regulation and scrutiny under government auditing standards, regular auditing standards, and then, of course, the uniform guidance when you have federal funds. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of regulation, and I'll go through some of that stuff here shortly. So our primary responsibility is form and express an opinion about whether your statements are in conformity with GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, obtain reasonable that the statements are free from material misstatement. Now, when I say reasonable rather than absolute, and it's underlined and bold, is because we're not hired to test every single transaction. We have to evaluate the audit from a risk perspective and do planning procedures on an annual basis that we're not missing the mark and we're hitting the accounts where things could go wrong, and the material accounts where there's a lot of transactions going on. And so that's why we can't render absolute assurance, because we don't test everything. We also consider internal controls. Internal controls are pretty much the cornerstone of a sound financial reporting system. And so without good internal controls, in my opinion, everything else is suspect. So if we don't have the proper checks and balances in place, that leads up to deficiencies in internal controls. So we look at that every year. We update our understanding of the county's internal controls so that we can test the right things. If we don't have the right understanding, then we can't test the right things. So we can't get complacent. Each year we come in and update those understandings and do a thorough look at internal controls in order to plan the audit. And then, of course, we communicate significant matters to management or those, in the responsible chain of command at that juncture. And that could be related to financial matters or it could be related to compliance matters. Because as I mentioned, the county, as a steward of public funds, has a higher level of fiduciary duty. And so there could be compliance-related things as far as not following contracts, not following the protocols of grant agreements, et cetera, et cetera. Next point, difficulties encountered in performing the audit. By far, the biggest challenge we had this year was we had a transition with a new CFO. We were already up against challenges with the delay in the single audit and the bifurcation of the audit report into a single audit report versus the financial statement report. So we were already up against that time challenge. And unfortunately, the CFO wasn't getting us the information we needed in a timely fashion, which resulted in, as you know, one of the findings in the report was a late audit report. Even though we had an extended deadline, we still submitted late just because of informational challenges with the CFO at the time. So I need to make sure that is clearly stated, because we did have some anomalies this year that we normally didn't have with previous staff. The next point, disagreements with management. We didn't have any disagreements when it came to financial accounting or reporting. Luckily, we didn't have anything to add to the fire. So there was no, contentious matters when it came to dealing with accounting policies and reporting standards, et cetera. So that's a good thing. Next point, significant issues discussed with management prior to retention. Although that already happened, it is a point we need to just highly mention. Whenever there's a change of auditors, there's certain protocol that has to happen between the predecessor auditor and the successor auditor. That happened 6 years ago when we got hired on by the county to do your audits. So that's kind of a non-issue for this year. Excuse me. Consultations with other accountants, next point. To our knowledge, the county didn't consult with any other auditors related to any of the findings. That rarely happens, but sometimes people will go get a second opinion. If they're not happy with the findings, they'll go challenge it and say, hey, given these same facts and circumstances, what do you think about this? Generally, that's not a good scenario because that means that management and the auditors aren't speaking on a high level. So luckily, happy to report we didn't have any of those second opinions. Moving on to the next bullet point here, accounting estimates. These are just things that we like to mention that, statements inherently will have some estimates depending on what types of accounts some estimates embedded in those examples that are significant in this report are incorporate a new asset into the county. We place it in service. We have to do some guess when that asset's going to last us. For the purpose you have capital assets, that's going to be an inherent that you have. Of course, the landfill closure liability is the best guess by the engineer. How much it's going to cost us to remediate that when the landfill closes. That has some estimates embedded in there. Of course, all of the pension and OPEB information, which as you have noted in the financial report takes up quite a bit of the disclosures. And they're, the actuarials that come up with these OPEB estimates are using mortality rates, projected returns on investments. And so obviously those are all, estimates at some level. And then the last two here, GASB lease inputs. When we get a lease that meets the criteria for capitalization, we have to estimate, are we going to exercise the renewal options? If so, how many, or are we not going to exercise the renewal options? That's kind of a guess on the front end. Also, the incremental borrowing rate. What is the interest rate that we have to incorporate into this lease to get it on the book? So that's an estimate. So I think that covers all of them. GASB compensated absences, GASB 101. When it comes this year with respect to how much are we going to owe when they separate? Is it going to include the, which leave balances does that include of current versus long-term on our balance sheet? So that's all the technical stuff. Moving on to the next bullet point, financial statement disclosures. So we also call those the footnote that kind of drills down on the front statements to say that the statements themselves don't tell the educated financial user. So therefore the footnotes kind of down and add some more clarity and transparency to the numbers that are in the front. Just to give some, some depth, like I said, to the reader who can't just look at a statement of net position and a statement of activities and go, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. So some of the more significant disclosures are capital assets, lease assets, lease liabilities, long-term debt. As I mentioned, net pension liability and OPEB, that's quite a bit of disclosure in there. JPAs, the county currently has approximately 17 JPAs, más o menos, so that's a lot of disclosure. And then we had a restatement disclosure that we'll come back to here shortly. Accounting policies, as I mentioned, GASB 101 was implemented this year. So that's the only new accounting pronouncement that the county was subject to for FY 2025. Moving on to the next bullet point, corrected misstatements. The restatement that I mentioned in the disclosure section was due to a capital asset adjustment. I believe that was to CIP. Then there were some clerical errors on the listing that had to be reconciled and rectified, and as a result, we had some adjustments to get those capital assets properly stated. We also proposed a restatement on the revenues that were recorded in the wrong period in the amount of $254,000. Then we had an adjustment to a temporary loan from the general fund to the hospital state grant fund that was recorded incorrectly, improperly classified. And finally, we had an adjustment to propose an interfund transfer for the American Rescue Plan Act fund to the Neighborhood Watch Fund. There was an accounting error there, and we rectified that to get the transfers to be stated properly. Excuse me, next bullet point, uncorrected misstatements. That would be something that fell below the materiality threshold and was not significant. We consider that trivial. We wouldn't record something like that. If we did have an entry like that, we would propose it to management. They would have the final say of yes or no, I don't want to record that. And that's again for materiality purposes, because we don't book every nickel and dime. That would take a long time to get an audit done if we were to do that. Our opinion, despite the fact that we had some findings, as Manager Aragon mentioned, it didn't affect your opinion. So sometimes findings rise to the level to where it actually affects, your auditor's opinion. In those situations, that's bad news. In this case, we had some blemishes, we had some findings, but nothing that rose to the level to where it would affect opinion. So at the end of the day, I call those blemishes that can be fixed. It's kind of most of them are low-hanging fruit that we just incorporate some changes to policy. You can make those findings go away. So real briefly, in 2025, we had a total of 5 findings. As I mentioned, we had an improper revenue recognition, 2025-002, and the remainder of the findings were related to, as I mentioned earlier, compliance, because as you know, OSA and the Office of Management and Budget, they have a lot of compliance requirements. And so, that's what these are related to, primarily state statute in this case. 2025-003, we had a case where there was a budget overage, expenses exceeded budget. We had a non-compliance over the improper use of fuel cards. We also had inadequate reconciliation of wages reported to PARA and RHC. And then, of course, late audit submission. That's kind of a default finding when the audit is late. So compared to 2024, we had 3 findings. I won't go into those, but not a big swing. Again, I think that based on the suggestions that we gave, the recommendations on how to rectify, and we'll work closely with Mr. Aragon here with the new incoming CFO to do what we can without crossing the independence line to help, gives you some suggestions and work with you. We're at the end of the day, we're not here. The purpose of the exercise is not how many findings can we get. And I know some people feel like that's what auditors do. What can we, where can we find something that they did wrong? We just things that up as part of our default testing that we're required to do. So it's nothing, nuance. A lot of agencies have these type of compliance findings, and it's just something we just have to pay attention to and move forward and fix them going forward. We do have one recommendation here. During our procedures over travel and per diem, we noted a travel reimbursement did not follow the contract provisions regarding travel and per diem. The agreement stated that the travel reimbursements would follow state regulations. However, the vendor was paid for actual fuel used. So, we do read these contracts. That's part of our shtick, because in order to evaluate compliance, we got to know what standard you guys are held to with respect to third-party contracts. So that could be a lease agreement, that could be a loan agreement, that could be, you know, some MOU or something like that. So we take those things into consideration, even though it's not really a financial component, it's a compliance component. We have to understand these agreements and whether you guys are in compliance. So that came out of that exercise. The last two items are not applicable to this meeting. So at this point, I would take any questions from anybody.
Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chair?
Please.
So one of the, on the first page, estimate of useful lives of capital assets.
Yes, sir.
So that's the depreciation. So do we still follow the same thing as normal businesses? Anything over 6,000 will go over the first year, anything after that?
So the capitalization threshold may vary. In government in New Mexico, I believe it's 5,000 is the capitalization threshold. So anything that's purchased a single line item unit above 5,000 would meet that threshold and therefore need to be capitalized and therefore would need to follow depreciation rules.
But like on vehicles, if it's over 6,000 pounds, it could be depreciated in the first year.
That's not very common. That's assuming that the vehicle is only going to last you 1 year.
It might be different from private.
If you buy a 1940 truck, you know.
It might be different from private to government. Because
yeah, we have to follow GAAP, and which would be straight line depreciation, which would be, now, these are your estimates. If you bought a truck and you thought it was only going to last you 1 year, and you had a practical reason to think that, then you can certainly depreciate that in that first year. That would be very uncommon. Usually vehicles have a longer lifespan than 1 year. So in this setting,
I guess that's where it's different as the government.
in this setting, you probably would not fully appreciate a vehicle in 1 year. That wouldn't follow the standards.
And then I just want to make a comment on the second page, the correct misstatements. For the hospital adjustment, that 5 million, it was for the purchase of the land. It wasn't anything else, but the 5 million was the land, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, as Mark had talked, there's some of those findings that are kind of a little more intricate on the being able to fix them, like the capital assets. It's been on our list for several years now, and then the low-hanging fruit. That particular thing is a little more intricate, but it is somewhat a low-hanging fruit as well. We've identified, working with Cibola County, that our reconciliation process for the past many years, many budgets, is a little different than most. And so clearing up that reconciliation process should fix many of those single-off new findings. I spoke with Saudi this morning. She kind of confirmed that. But that's something we've already found and realized an issue with our own closeout process for the year. So yeah, it is directly related to that, but it's more of the current reconciliation process we have is a little bit behind rather than a monthly reconciliation process, about 2 months. So where it looks like something is not reported, it just hasn't happened yet.
But my question was, so it's the 5 million. I want to make sure that the public knows that it wasn't the.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the 5 million that we had to purchase the land.
Right. Yeah. It was a general fund use that you all approved. It wasn't anything to do with the appropriation or ARPA or anything like that. It was general fund money. Yep.
For the land. That was,
yes, sir. Yep.
And initially, it was running through the income statement, but since it resembled the loan, that's why we had to reclassify it as a balance sheet item. There was no misappropriation. It was just the debits and credits weren't proper in that scenario.
I just want to make sure that, if they had questions, we had approved that money for the land.
That had already been approved prior, yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then, Mr. Chair, Commissioner, you had kind of tasked the county last year with cleaning up that capital asset, finding it is, like I said, it's a more intricate one to fix. What we did do over this past year was contract with a asset management group. So what they've done is they've cataloged everything. They're now training our capital assets manager on how to import all that stuff into the software program that we have. And so basically now moving forward, once all that's input, it's going to be as simple as going out to those vehicles, going up to those computers, scanning a barcode, and
Doing the inventory.
doing the inventory that way. So hopefully that'll be the process to get it taken off the books this year. But it is one of those it is a very intricate one to fix. As I've been told, most counties actually have a capital assets finding.
And then my last one, maybe in the next meeting or so, that you could explain the improper use of the fuel cards. Just give us a rundown of what
That
happened.
one's very quick. During the fires last year, our fire trucks were unable to come back to the yard because they had to fill up quick and get back to the fire. So they were kind of utilizing a single card at the gas pump. So odometer readings were different. And so the recommendation of the auditors is to have a single fuel card for each vehicle.
And then what about the other three?
Mostly those reconciliation problems that I was telling you about. It's part of that closeout year-end process.
Anything else? Commissioners, anything else? Staff, you good?
The one that bites me is the late audit. We had kind of some difficulty right there at the end of the audit year, with our tax issue, with our fraud issue, and then ultimately with our CFO no longer being employed. So it's something that should have not happened, but unfortunately it did, and I don't expect that finding to be back on there ever.
My recollection is I don't believe we've had a late audit finding since I've been doing the audit. And that, that's a team effort, right? It's both sides of the equation meeting their responsibilities. Again, we had some nuances this year, right? The biggest one was the bifurcation of the audit, splitting up the financial statement audit and the single audit, which pushed back the deadlines. And then, of course, some of these incidents, that we speak of, the tax and the vendor issue, those came up like right during this whole process, which I don't know if that contributed to the challenges that we were facing, but I'm sure it didn't help having those additional issues that hit the newspaper and the news, front and center on your desk when you're trying to finish up an audit. I wouldn't want to be in that seat. But again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that there are probably several factors that contributed to the late audit this year, and I wouldn't anticipate that in our final year we would have a late audit, because we're being very proactive right now, Mr. Manager and I and the team, to get ready for 6/30/26, which is coming up.
Yeah, we, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I think I've shared that we have a finance director coming on July 6th. For the most part, the final budget will be nearly complete, so it won't be necessarily something that she will be working on real in depth, so we can really focus on this year's audit and get her in touch with our auditors and create that relationship right away, because finding out that relationship is extremely important to have. When there's that question that comes up, you just need to reach out and ask. And I've been very grateful to Mark and his team. They've gotten me through some of the things I needed to respond to as far as corrective action plans and stuff like that. And very grateful for their assistance through this entire process. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Hey, Commissioners, any other questions? If not, recommendation, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the audit.
Second.
A motion for approval from Commissioner Bazell, second by Commissioner Sparkman. Any discussion on the motion of the second? Be done. Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, as approved. And Mr. Santiago, thank you for being here with us.
Yes,
this evening. It's been a
absolutely.
pleasure
Happy
working
to
with
be
you,
here.
guys the last few years, and look forward, I guess, one more year with you, right?
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having the county's best interest.
You betcha.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this resolution is 2026-44.
Okay, item 11, UWS Solid Waste Contract Amendment. Manager Aragon.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to welcome up Mr. Ernie Byers from UWS. He's going to go over some amendments from their team.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good to see you again. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your consideration of amending our contract. We've been working on the Conejo rebuild to our new facility for several years. It's been a rough build. We got vandalized. Actually, some beams got stolen. And
Let me pull that picture up real quick. Roby, can you put the picture up for item number 11?
I'm good now.
I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to go out there. The facility is massive. It's one of the largest ones in the state. We're in the process of getting it a licensed facility where there's not a cap on the tonnage. Right now, we're capped at 240 cubic yards a day. So we're probably 2-3 months away from that happening, which is good news. The facility, top one shows you the entry gate. There's plenty of parking. As the vehicles come in off the street, it'll accommodate 8 or 9 vehicles before it gets to the scale house, another 10 or 15 until it gets up to the spotter, which tells them where to go and which door. There's the pictures to the right are just some people unloading. This happens to be on a Sunday, and it was real slow that particular day. And then it shows the excavator loading the materials into the trailer, so it's a top load system. It's real smooth. People seem to like it. We have spotters that are on site that help people unload and try to get them in and out as safely as possible. One of the issues we're having is on Sundays, we've been robbed a couple, 2-3 times. People have gone, pulled guns on them. It's very unsafe. During the week, every other weekday, we have truck drivers in there. We have trucks coming in. There's full staff, and we don't have that on Sundays, and it's very, very unsafe. So our ask is if we could close Sundays, we're open 4 hours on Sundays. In exchange for that, we'll stay an hour longer, 5 days a week, so the people gain an extra hour. We've kind of pulled some people coming in, and it seems that they would like that better. I know it'd be better for us. Sunday is a church day. People, it's not getting the usage. We're having a hard time staffing it. They're just afraid to go to work. So that's a big concern of ours. And when the county operated, they were closed Sundays and Mondays, and everybody's entitled to a day off. So that's one of our asks. The second ask is we haven't raised the rates at the convenience center in the last 3 years, and so we would like a rate adjustment to compensate for that. We wanted to make sure the facility was open, and so we wanted to go from $3.50 a cubic yard to $5, which is an average price for the surrounding area, actually cheaper than Belen, and it's comparable to Albuquerque, and that's our ask.
Good. Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chair?
Please.
So I care about the safety of the people, but one of the problems that I have is when the county puts in a no burn ban, you know, they're burning leaves and trash and stuff like that. I want to make sure that they're not dumping out in the deserts, you know, so I just want to make sure, you know, if if it gets to be a problem where people are dumping out in the Llano instead of at the transfer station because it's not open, that would be my only concern.
But what we've geared up is to increase our days that we have special cleanups in certain areas. So that seems, we don't really get that problem. We're only open 4 hours on Sunday. And so if they, where they dump is in our front gate. When they come there, if we're closed, they just dump it right in our front gate. The next morning we clean it up. But we're open-minded. If there's an issue, Commissioner, we'll do whatever it takes to address it.
Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Mr. Byers, you're open for 4 hours on Sunday, but you're going to add an extra hour every day, so that's Monday through Saturday. So you're actually adding 2 additional hours.
That is correct, yes,
Okay,
sir.
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Questions? Mr. Barry? Dave, did you have something?
Mr. Chairman, I do. So while UWS is requesting both a change in their hours and an increase in their fees, this board cannot consider an increase in the fees until we've published notice of that. First provided notice 20 days in advance and published notice 15 days in advance of that adjustment to the fees. So as it relates to that particular item, that'll be considered by the board at the next meeting. So, and actually under the next action item, you have a resolution amending the fees. So for that item, we're going to seek direction to publish that resolution and provide the notice to the public, and we'll bring that back to the board in July 22nd, I believe that meeting is. But as it relates to this amendment only relates to the change in the hours to remove the Sunday hours and add the additional hour for the remainder of the week.
Thank you. Anything else, commissioners? Okay, please.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Byers, in your supporting documentation, I think you had all put in there that on your social media and stuff like that, you would also do some like public service notices that you'll be closing that in hopes to maybe clear up and let people know that that will happen. So
Yeah, so we'll do handouts, we'll do flyers, we'll do mailings and public media. Social media.
Manager, you got anything else? Okay, all righty. Item 11 is UWS solid waste contract amendment. Is there a recommendation, please?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment, have them close on Sundays and open an extra hour every day, Monday through Saturday.
Second.
I have a motion for approval of the amended contract by Commissioner Bazell, second by Commissioner Berry. Any discussion on the motion of the second? None? Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, it's approved.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then item 12, we've discussed that resolution, and I believe that we have a recommendation from legal. Is there any discussion on this particular item? If not, is there a recommendation?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to publish the amended fee change for the Caneo Station.
Second.
I have a motion, a recommendation by Commissioner Bazell, second by Commissioner Berry. Any discussion on the motion of the second? You done? Commissioner Bazell, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Berry, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparkman, your vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We will visit that on the 22nd. Okay, item 13, we have a presentation, DARE presentation, Pauline Vallejos.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, good afternoon. Ms. Pauline Vallejos has represented the Juvenile Justice Advisory Board for the past year. She has been an absolute champion within the community, which is why we asked for her participation on the board. And since her arrival, she has done nothing but positive things, whether that be discussion, conveying information that she's privy to within the schools. And in about a year and a half ago, we did have some introductory conversations with some folks with Los Lunas schools about the possible reintroduction of the DARE program. Did have some positive discussions, but ultimately Pauline and her team were the ones that really were able to answer that call, participate in some trainings, and ultimately be able to bring back the DARE program. So I just wanted to give a quick introduction to Pauline and her team. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and get a screen presentation shared, and she will kind of segue through it. So thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being here with us.
So I want to thank you guys for having us this evening. I typically talk in front of kids, so I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, good. This is Officer Gonzalez. She's actually my teammate with the DARE program. I'm going to just touch real fast because I know it's kind of been a long meeting for you guys on how we got introduced to DARE. I am the lead security for the Belen School District. I am starting my 25th year now with the district. Belen PD actually sponsored me in getting in the DARE program. The DARE program is typically overseen and ran by uniformed police officer or military, but because of my background in corrections and my safety and security part with the district, they allowed me to be in the DARE program. I'm one of 4 civilians in the nation that was allowed to be a part of the program. It wasn't an easy program. Miranda and I and another officer went in November, and we did a 2-week course. It was pretty intense. We brought the information back, and our administration there at the Belen schools let us hit the ground running. They said, do what you need to. We trust you guys. Educate our kids. So as we all know, DARE used to be drug awareness, resilience, and education, right? That's what it stood for. It started in 1983. Well, about 2012, they decided that it was no longer working. They were getting a lot of pushback from different communities, different areas in the nation that were saying, my kids don't need drug awareness, we're good. It took a group of doctors from Pennsylvania and other parts of the nation to come together to work on a new DARE curriculum. And I actually have a book that, we actually have a lot of books that we started a pilot program, like I said. It's pre-K through 12, and it's broken down age specific. It touches all the way into our community as far as parent and community members, talking about opioids and fentanyl. And it doesn't just talk about say no to drugs anymore. It gives our kids and is a lot of our parents the strategies that they need to help combat the things that our kids are faced with on a daily basis. It teaches peer pressure. It teaches self-confidence. Help me out, Miranda, what else?
Teaches the kids how to deal with like stressful situations, basically like cyberbullying, different things like that. And believe it or not, when we were teaching some of these kids in, 2nd grade, they're like, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I have family that does this. And they relate to it a lot better. And they're like, well, I have friends that do this, is that not good? What do I do? How do I tell them no? And believe it or not, this actually helped a lot of the kids, and they came up to me a couple times and they were like, because you taught me this, I was able to say this, and I was able to teach my brother or my own parents, like, vaping's not good for you, drugs aren't good for you, what to do in the situation where, like, they've been at parks and there's needles on the ground, or they're in the middle of Walmart or something and they're approached by somebody they don't know, and how to actually say no to different things.
We brought 2 students. We graduated 92 kids from the Belen School District. And again, they were our pilot students. 2 6th grade classes and 4 3rd grade classes. Rio Grande Elementary was our 3rd grade. Dennis Chavez was our 6th graders. These are two sixth graders. Now in July, Miranda and I will be attending a conference in Ruidoso again, and it's just a refresher of DARE. But these students are going to be entered in a statewide competition for their essays. So I'm going to introduce them, and then I'll touch a little bit after they speak, okay? This first one is Ezekiel Dominguez, sixth grader at Dennis Chavez. So he's going to read his essay. They were asked to write an essay. The program is 10 weeks. During the 7th week, I introduced an essay to them and said, tell me what you gathered from it. So this is Ezekiel.
My name is Zeke, and this is my DARE essay. Have you ever heard of the DARE program? Well, the DARE program is a class where you learn about making good decisions and doing what's right, whether it's stopping someone from bullying another kid or being responsible and respectful. During this essay, I will be talking about what I have learned from this program and how I plan on using the things that I learned to make responsible and safe choices in the future. First and foremost, I will be talking about how I have learned from the DARE program. Did you know that there are more than 40 known chemicals found in vape juice, including contaminants and carcinogens? Over 40,000 deaths per year can be attributed to secondhand smoke. Also, vaping can cause inflammation of the airway and lungs, leading to persistent cough and shortness of breath, bronchitis, and worsening of asthma symptoms. More than 480,000 people die from tobacco-related cases each year. Stay away from drugs. Secondly, I will be talking about how I use the DARE decision-making model. I have used this model to define the problem, challenge, and opportunity. This helps me better solve situations. I have used it to assess. This makes sure that I can choose the correct choice 80% of the time. This model helps me finally respond using all the information I have gathered after I have made my decision. This model helps evaluate and make sure I made the right decision. Finally, I will be talking about how I will use the things I learned in the DARE program to make safe and responsible choices. For example, if someone tried peer pressuring me, I would use some of the strategies like avoiding the situation, walking away, and changing the subject. Some other ways I can use the things I have learned to make safe and responsible choices are the 5 W's of reporting bullying. These W's are who, what, when, where, and why. This makes sure that other kids and I stay away from bullying. These are the ways that the DARE program helps me make safe and responsible choices. This essay summarizes the things that I learned in DARE and how I can use these skills to make safe and responsible choices. The DARE program is a fun and helpful program, and I am happy that I got to experience it.
And this is Sophia Sanchez, sixth grade at Dennis Chavez.
Have you ever wanted to stop smoking, vaping, or drinking? If you had, there's a program named DARE. DARE can be used as a guide to help solve problems. DARE can help you become a better or healthier person. We learned how to handle peer pressure, how to communicate with people, and many more beneficial life skills. To begin it all off, the first thing I learned in DARE is the dangers of drinking and smoking and vaping. Did you know there's 178,000 deaths from alcohol each year in the U.S.? Drinking can also affect your brain, memory, muscle, slow reflexes, and many more. Vaping can cause 480,000 deaths from tobacco-related vaping and smoking. Vaping and smoking can cause high blood sugar, peer pressure, brain problems, cancer, lungs problems, and much more health effects. Even when you try it once, you can get addicted. But in DARE, you can learn the proper self-control. The next thing I learned in DARE is how to handle peer pressure and how to communicate with others. DARE can teach you the responsible when you are asked to do something you're not supposed to be doing. DARE shows you can deal with peer pressure in safe, respectful ways. And next is communication. DARE shows you how to respond to someone in a tone you may. For example, if you whisper to someone next to you, they might think you're talking badly about them or making fun of them or if you're saying something in a tone you didn't mean, they might take it offensive to it. That's how DARE shows the correct way to communicate with peers. Finally is the discuss bullying. Bullying can become a big problem for many people. Do you know around 4,400 people are taking their lives from bullying? There are many people that could still be on earth, but some people decide to be inconsiderate and mess with someone. You never know what someone is going through. That's why in DARE they teach you how to respect your surroundings, and even if you say a single compliment, you can make someone's day. DARE shows you how to stand up for others and how safe reporting can help students be safe. To end it all off, these are the things I learned in DARE. I am positive that I will use most of these skills when I go to middle school, such as handling peer pressure, approaching communication, and avoiding situations I should not be doing. This is why I think DARE is beneficial for students' well-being and for the better community. DARE can make Belen a better and safer place.
So these are just 2 of the 92 students that, again, that we worked with our DARE program. And I thought it was important for our public officials, for the people that we elect, to know that the DARE program is back. And I'm really hoping that because of my position, I'm not tied down to just Belen schools. Being a part of the Juvenile Justice Advisory Board, when we had a meeting last week, there was one of our youth candidates in there that had made a statement about wanting help in his neighborhood, and his neighborhood being El Cerro Mission. He said, we really need people to come out and talk against drugs. And I thought, man, that's me, that's Miranda. We're not tied down to the Belen School District. I want to be able to be utilized throughout my entire county. I want more police officers to be able to step up and take this on. I think it's important that we continue to build relationships between our police officers and our students, because I think that's kind of slipped away and they're seen as a negative. And we really need to bring that back. We have to teach our students the skills that they need to combat the darkness of this world. We need to teach our kids that they do have people that believe in them, that self-confidence is okay, that you're able to look at your peers in a respectful way and say, I don't want to do that. If you paid attention, which I know you did, these kids touched on vape. Vaping is huge in our school districts, in the nation. And anymore, it's not just nicotine, it's marijuana, and they're slipping some other stuff in there. If we can teach our kids how to say no in a respectful way, I guarantee you they're not going to ask them again. Or to be just assertive, that person's going to find somebody else. But I guarantee you our DARE kids are going to report it. And we also have learned in our curriculum suicide prevention. You guys had a lady speaking about the Meadow Lake Community Center. I would love to get into that community center and bring knowledge of drug awareness to that community, and suicide prevention, just different things. I know that's probably not what they were talking about. You know, they want to see that community center utilized, but I just think that's huge, just to start bringing in the DARE program. I'm not a uniformed officer, but I promise I won't fail anybody. I love my community, I love my county and my kids. And having somebody like Miranda Young, and everybody loves to see a female police officer. The little girls just, what do you do? They're so excited to see her, you know. And to have her alongside me in this journey, I think is only going to be a plus for our county. So I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate you listening. And if you guys have any questions or any concerns, let us know.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation. Great job. You guys are doing excellent work in our community, and I know you want to be throughout the county, and we totally support that effort on your part. I know it's a lot of work, but I think that you have some good a good team there behind you. And Ezekiel and Sophia, I can see you guys as future leaders. You guys did a great job. Continue the good work. Stay on the right track, and you guys will go far. Commissioners, anything you wish to say or any questions?
Mr. Chair?
Please.
So I remember the DARE as a kid growing up myself. What can the county do to help you guys? Because, I mean, it's great to give a presentation, but I know, there's funding issues and stuff like that. And where I have an issue with, is people come and give us a presentation, but they don't tell us what they need or what they want. And that's where it's hard for us, is because if you don't tell us, we don't know. So if you guys need something, we might, hopefully we can find some money or something like that if that's what you want. But if you need something, you guys have to tell us.
So our biggest thing right now, of course, as it is for everybody, it is financial. The materials are very expensive. The school district bought the first round of books. As I scroll through this, almost every lesson is a different book. Right now, Miranda and I are going to start working with the City of Belen, their recreation center on Wednesdays, and we're going to do a 2-hour presentation. But what I'm doing is I'm just making copies for right now because we don't have the funding to buy the books. But that's our biggest expense right now is the materials. For a set of 100 books, I believe it's $350. They're pretty pricey. I know my school district will buy the books that we need. And again, Belen PD has been awesome. We've all kind of just pitched in and bought what we needed. I don't have a dollar amount because we've reached out. We got a handful of sponsors for this past year also. And if I'm not mistaken, we got pretty close to about $4,000. We had a touch on that. It goes through him. The money goes through the Belen Police Department.
Chairman, County Commissioners, my name is Marty Vivas. I'm the Deputy Chief for the Belen Police Department. I already talking about the financial aspect of what it is. The DARE program primarily runs off of donations and contributions. It's not one that's meant or designed to, it's actually frowned upon through the DARE program to be funded by a law enforcement agency. So they're tasked with going out as DARE officers and seeking funds. We've had a lot of great sponsors that have stepped forward to help us kick it off. To get this program started for 92 kids, we spent $5,460 some to get the program kicked off. That was sending them to DARE school. That was just 3 officers that we sent, and, the hotel room, so on and so forth. The conference itself was essentially free. We spent roughly about $1,400 on curriculum, and then about another $1,300 in getting them t-shirts and stuff like that so they can graduate. One of the students is actually wearing a t-shirt today that was given to him after graduation. And then, of course, they have to purchase the funds that we use is not only just for the curriculum and the basic curriculum that we use, but we also purchase their certificates and stuff so they can get an authentic diploma when they graduate. So essentially thinking is what you look at is we're looking at about $3,500 to train every 100 kids per year. With contributions and building of the program, the cost is expected over the second and third year to drop down about $2,500 per 125 kids. So they are tasked with constantly seeking funds for the program. So if you're asking financially what it costs a lot. There is a lot of things that the DARE officers do that do not cost money, and that is, like she said, they work with the recreation program, so on and so forth. Those posters and things that they utilize that we need to purchase, relatively not expensive, but are reusable. So there's a lot within the program that is extremely reusable. But just like anything else, there's cost and tail to everything that they do. But like I said, we've had some great sponsors in the past. Everybody jumps out and sponsors the first time, but we can't continuously beat up those exact sponsors that they hit up every single year. We're hoping that they do come back and re-sponsor, but you know how it is. Small business owner myself, you can only give so much before you get wore out. So we appreciate that conversation. If you have any questions.
Mr. Chair. And I'll probably have head of us tag team this anyway. So, during the slideshow, I recognized many, key names in there like fentanyl and vaping and stuff like that. Valencia County is part of a collaboration with opioid relief funds, with the Village of Las Lunas and other entities around the state. And we actually seek presentations like yours to fund certain things. And Hedemias is the one that actually vets all those presentations and presents those things to the ORC board, which I serve as chair, and other managers from around the state serve as board members. And we actually, I don't think we've actually denied one yet. So there's quite a bit of money in that particular program. If you can build it around opioid usage and combating opioid usage, I'm sure we could find quite a bit of money for you. And then also with Village of Las Lunas being a partner, we'll make the pitch to them, and I don't see that there will be denial of that particular presentation, as long as you work it through, and like I said, Hedemias will vet that. On the building usage portion of it, we're more than happy to host their programs at our seniors, or at our community centers. We have that built into our process, and as long as it's benefiting the kids, it's just making sure that the building's available, and then we actually waive all fees as long as it relates to education for children. So we're more than happy to work with you on building usage, whether it be Meadow Lake, El Cerro, Morales, Belen. We're more than happy to do that. So,
and remember also that 4 of my schools are also in the county. So I have an amazing superintendent that stuff needed to be housed there, and I'm sure he'd be willing to.
Absolutely. And then yeah, Hedemias can talk about the processes for ORC and what he kind of sees with this program.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bazell, just to kind of address your question on the funding part of it, I will work with Pauline and her team to identify what that dollar amount needs to be, because as Jonathan mentioned, I think the ORC and the permissible uses, it fits exactly what this is all about. So I do believe the next ORC meeting is coming up in September. So I'll make sure and work with Pauline and Officer Vallejos to make sure to get an application prepared and submitted for consideration by the ORC board. And then just because I know you brought it up, Commissioner Bazell, on why she didn't ask for money, that was my suggestion to her. I said, let's come to the commission, let's express who we are, what's going on, why you're here, and then in 2-3 months, we can come back and show what progress we made. But in the back of my mind, I knew the ORC was there, and I wanted to take advantage of that potential funding source prior to just asking for money. But with that, it was a wonderful presentation, and if there's any other questions.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chair,
please.
I just want to comment. It's so nice to see like the advancement of like the actual training. A lot of times as a kid, I remember it was just like, oh, say no to drugs, wear your red ribbon for a week. But it's nice to see a testament in the kids' essays that they're actually learning these terms. They're being taught what this actually is, how to identify it in public places. So I just want to thank you for teaching them the realities of it, and not just this subjective, like, don't do this type scenario. So thank you for all the work that you do, and please, the ORC I think is a great route for us, but if there is some other financial needs or other needs, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we're happy to get you guys back here and approve that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys very, very much. Have a good evening.
You also, thank you.
You have an extra 2XL of that Dare shirt. I've always wanted one. I used to go to the yard sales with my grandpa to see if I could find one. Cause
you got to go through the training to get one.
Yes, I'll go through it.
Okay, guys. No executive session tonight, so we got an upcoming meeting, July 1st, 2026, business meeting, 5 p.m. here in the chambers, also via Facebook Live. Our July 15th, 2026 public hearing business meeting has been canceled. And are there any closing comments? Being none, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.